special reporter on this one. What do you think, John? What's going on with Obi-Wan?
So from Disney D23 Expo, they announced that there's going to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Mm-hmm.
And they have 2 other series, The Mandalorian and one other one that are coming out soon.
Oh, like
Star Wars world?
for Star Wars ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
That's
doing
all I've heard, right?
What's that?
That's the only 2 I've heard. Is there another?
Yeah, they're doing the final season for Clone Wars. There's a few other things.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's going to be starring Ian McGregor again, that was in the prequels.
I was pretty excited.
He's the one that announced it.
Like,
Yeah.
I loved,
And he was awesome. So one thing that they announced was the time frame, which actually works good with his aging over these years, because it's going to be 8 years after Episode 3. Yeah. So we'll probably see Luke will be 8 years old, or 8 or 9. So it'll be like when we saw Anakin in was it Episode 4.
Oh, so we'll get some more Darth Vader, probably the becoming of him building an empire.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm hoping it'll be more. I don't actually want to see anything to do with
Vader.
And Vader.
Well,
yeah.
Where's the conflict coming from? If there's one.
That's it. Well, we could explore a whole new world
stuff.
of Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Because as far as we know, Obi-Wan didn't make any more contact with the Sith or Jedi afterwards. He stayed on Tatooine in isolation.
At this time, all the Jedis are being hunted down. Yeah. So it's best that he doesn't raise any alarms.
Yeah.
He needs to be thought to be dead.
But could he be like fighting, like creating a resistance and fighting undercover from Tatooine?
Yeah.
Or communicating with other Jedi through the Force on staying on Tatooine? Or maybe he just settles down and becomes a farmer or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, because we go from the jump of he brings the baby to his uncle and aunt, right? To Luke Skywalker's uncle and aunt.
Yeah.
And then we jump to Episode 4 where he's old Ben.
Yeah.
And just kind of watching over Luke.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get that gap.
Yeah. So he has people there to take care of Luke, so he doesn't really have to stay hands on. Right. He could be, an undercover agent working, between other people and stuff like that. So that'd be interesting to see.
Is there any stories or anything like that you want to see out of that moment, out of that time span?
So I don't want to see him just be a farmer. I know they could get into more like emotional connection and stuff like that and make it more sentimental with him, but I'd rather see some dark path, like not a dark path, but him being wise. And he obviously ages a lot in 19 years. He goes from Episode 3 to Episode 4, so he gets real old. But yeah, I want to see him like using the Force to communicate with other Jedis and pushing the rebellion to strengthen and what do you call it? Compromise the Empire or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Try to be a detriment to the Empire. Okay, so what could he be doing? One thing I would like to see is in Clone Wars. Have you had a chance to watch Clone Wars?
I've watched a few episodes, but I've never sat down and actually
the first season's kind of too kiddish, but then they get like deep stories, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
But in there, he has a girlfriend, kind of, that's a Mandalorian. Like, she's the queen of the Mandalore.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of problems. And it wasn't a girlfriend he has nowadays. It's like, oh, yeah, we had this love tryst before when he was younger. And so I'd like to see him go back and kind of, like, do some action there. Yeah. So maybe we could see him kind of become, like, a pirate or, like, a knight out there, like a hedge knight from Game of Thrones, basically. Somebody who's going from town to town, helping people out.
Yeah.
We can farm a lot of stories out of that.
He could travel. I mean, he does have to keep his identity secret that he's a Jedi because they're being hunted, but I guess he could travel outside of their network or whatever, not within the people that know him.
Yeah, the Outer Rim is not even touched by most of the Empire.
Yeah, so
he can do a lot of stuff out there with the pirates and stuff. And I've always wanted to see more pirate stuff and bounty hunters.
Yeah, and I think it would be cool to see, because there's a lot, like Squeaks is saying, that happened with Vader in between there that we don't know. So last we saw, Anakin had left, or Obi-Wan had left him to die. He thought he was gonna die. And sure enough, of course, he survives and has robotic limbs and stuff like that. But
yeah,
it'd be kind of cool to see his recovery and then that being left by his master to die, like fueling his rage, and then him growing even darker and stronger in the Force.
Just seeing 2 different stories, because you could have that story, and then you're talking about how the Jedi were being hunted. Have Obi-Wan go through trying to save Jedis, trying to get them together, but then we make us fall in love with some other Jedis that die. Kind of like the Game of Thrones thing, where you love someone, you're like, holy crap, kind of something like that too.
Yeah, we could really flesh out a lot of characters and then show some more perspective on the situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that they're going to show in Mandalorian. They've talked about in the past, where there's going to be people who miss, because that's in between the fall of the Empire and the rise of the new movies, right? Mm-hmm. So we are going to have people that are like, oh no, my life is ruined because the Empire's gone, because they kept law. So now all of a sudden, say you had a little shop wherever, say Jakku, and all of a sudden the Empire fell, and your little shop now is being raided by the local warlord because nobody's stopping this local warlord. He's a problem. He's a gang basically, and so now you're wishing that the Empire was around. And that's something we don't see in any of the movies. They did create law and order, but now they're gone. Is there anything you think in Cheddar that you want to see out of?
So I like to see like the struggles between which side to pick, right? So the other Jedi's, which direction they're gonna go.
Oh, some of the remaining Jedi slip.
So they might slip, and then the struggles of what's the right way and what's the right path to go.
Yeah. So. Yeah, they could be seeing like, oh, this is maybe the dark side's the way to survive.
Right.
That's a good way.
What if they do a good job at like showing us like, man, maybe the dark side is the best side.
Yeah,
Actually get us goods in both of them instead of just saying like, okay, I get what the dark side's doing, just peace with power or however you want to say it, but maybe show like a brighter side to it. I'm like, oh man, maybe this is right.
And I think we'll get a lot more depth in the balance of the Force because at this point in his life is when Obi Wan Kenobi realized that I was training Anakin to be the greatest new light and everything, and he's like, no. Yoda even tried to explain to him like, if you make something really great, something really bad's gonna come. Like it has to be balanced. So now that Anakin's going around killing all the Jedis, well, maybe we'll see something starts to kill a lot of the Sith, or something else is going to balance it out, or there's going to be a bunch of young new Jedis that he's going to be sending people to go reach out to and try to bring them together or something.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know.
And I think, if I remember correctly, I think Qui-Gon Jinn's a ghost at this point and can help him out. So we can kind of get a little bit of Liam Neeson action.
Oh, and from Clone Wars, and I think from one of the other movies, from the Solo movie, Darth Maul is alive and has robotic legs, so we could easily see them cross paths again at some point.
That'd be so freaking. But he's in the new animated series, and I don't think that. But it would be amazing to see those two spar off again.
Yeah, because I think this is probably going to be before Clone Wars too.
Yeah,
between the two. So.
Well, he has robotic legs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
because I seen Solo movie.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
At the very end, you see him just kind of step in. But he has robotic legs. He ended up like...
Oh, I didn't see that.
Episode
I seen
1
him come in.
Yeah.
And then it was like... I know. Yeah, okay.
The Clone Wars, they end up exploring that a lot. He becomes like a major character in the Clone Wars. It's really quite well done. That's good stuff, though. I'm down. One thing that we should really see is the fact that like not everybody in the Empire is a Sith.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that just work for the government. Basically,
that'd be nice to see that the Empire is actually kind of like Starfleet. Like it's a structured government organization that, like you're saying, brings peace in most forms. It is also a military though, so when they think they need to take control, they do it with force. But for the most part, they're structured. Like police. Like,
and you can stop giving us characters, like you're saying. Stop giving us characters that are always so
binary. Good or bad,
evil, like so harsh on the dark side. Like show the good characters, be like, oh well, this is how it should be or whatnot. But
so like I'm saying, the balance on the Force, you might see Sith Lords or Empire members who are like, man, this is really messed up. We shouldn't be doing this, and start to kind of go into a gray area or turn against the Empire to try to just we got to stop this chaos and just find peace.
Or just happy people that think it's right. I think I was reading a Darth Vader comic book, and there was like a girl that was helping Vader out to get to certain places, and she was just like a lucky person that was working for the dark side. Like give us some of those instead of someone that's so harsh, or maybe like, oh, this is so bad, like Finn. Yeah, but maybe someone that's just like, oh, this is their job and I believe this route.
And they may not agree with what management's doing, like they
just treat it like a normal job or something.
Exactly.
Just give us the office, like that SNL skit.
In episode 4, that's a good one. In episode 4, we see like there's a whole council of governors and stuff like that are like, yeah, we understand that you got magic or whatever, Vader, but right now we're trying to figure out how to feed the people. And, there's a small rebellion in this one sector. We got to figure out how to do that and make sure that people are happy with the choices that they made.
Yeah, exactly.
And Vader's just like, choke. Yeah. But, like, there's a lot of other people that are like, yeah, but I won an election. So
it'd be cool to do something like that,
All right, next up, we're going to be going over to our interview with Mark Verma and his new comic book game. And then we'll be right back.